fly rod, but this is a really good place to show a good demonstration of jig fishing. Jigs won't always work at alpine lakes, but a lot of times they do. And jig fishing is a lot like fly fishing. You'll discover it, and I'll be able to demonstrate because there's no wind, and this is a really good time to show you. I'm gonna go and walk out here. There's a deep drop off there. I'm using this jig here. These are made by Power Bait, so they have scent infused in them. So you can't use these in any special regulation artificial lonely waters, but you can use them if there aren't special regulations. So when you're jig fishing, a lot of times you can watch the line. So sometimes when you throw a jig out, you're gonna let it sink deep and then start jigging it. Other times you can throw it out and start jigging it right away. The thing with jig fishing is you need to watch the line, because when you cast it out and you're letting it sink, sometimes the fish will hit it while it's sinking and you got to set the hook. Other times when you're pulling it up, they'll hit it when it's sinking and you won't feel the strike. So a lot of times you got to watch the line, and it's like fly fishing. You got to watch the line, and when the line goes, that's when you reel in. So with jigs, you're going to cast it out. I'm going to let this one sink. So what I'm doing is I'm watching my line on top of the water, and I'm seeing if there's anything suspicious. If there's anything suspicious, I'm going to set the hook. Another thing with jigs, a lot of times your line will get fouled up in the front. So what you can do is you can hold the line like this. Hold your rod up here so that you keep the line tight in front of your reel. So I'm holding my line, and now I'm going to start jigging. And I'm watching the line because that's where I'm going to see the strike. I'm just going to go let the line loose, and if I get tangled, I'll retie. But this doesn't always work. But it's a good way to fish if you have some deep rocks. And in Lake 6 above, there's some really good deep rocks right on the shore, and you can drop this jig down in that deep water. Here, there's a little bit of shallow stuff before, so it's a little better for fly fishing. But I'm gonna go ahead and fish this deep water a couple casts, and then I'm gonna go to Lake 6 and we're gonna go to the back and see if I can do it. But as you can see, I'm jigging it and I'm letting it sink. And then I'm jigging it and I'm letting it sink. And this can be really effective in alpine lakes. It can be effective if you're fishing from a boat or a kayak. And I'm fishing 4-pound test. So we'll do this next cast. So I'm letting it sink and I'm watching my line and I'm seeing if it moves. I thought I saw something there. So I set the hook and there wasn't anything there. It was the wind. But you know, you want to set the hook no matter what. You don't want to take any chances, because worst case scenario, you just come up empty. So I'm fishing this jig up here at Lake 6. There's some nice rainbows up here. And this guy came up and swam up and just nailed it. He got a little bit foul hook there. But that's a nice rainbow. With this jig, I'm letting it sink in these rocks, deep water. So when I'm casting it out, like I said in the introduction to my jig fishing, I'm watching my line, because he hit it. It was just sinking, and also my line just shot out. So you got to watch your line. You got to really pay attention when you're jig fishing, because you're not going to feel the fish. You're going to see the strike, and then you're going to hit it. And then you get it going. And it's always worth it to drop your jigs down right in between these big boulders, because sometimes fish will just stay. And trout will hit these things aggressively. So I'm going to cast parallel to shore and see if anything happens here. Oh, there we go. See, he hit that when it was sinking. See that? I didn't even get a bite. It was sinking and I saw my line shoot out. So that's what you got to watch for. There's a lot of rainbows. Whenever you have a shoreline that's got these deep boulders that drop deep down, that's when that's when you can really do some damage with jigs. But you have to pay attention, because if you don't pay attention, the fish could be gone before you even know it's there. So right now I'm watching my line sink. That guy, he just boom, boom. I just watched my line. You can tell when a fish hits your line. The person that learns to watch their line will catch more fish over the years than someone that only waits to see a strike on their hook. Because this kind of fishing, you're not going to feel the fish bite. Sometimes you will, but usually they hit it when it's sinking. So you just got to be patient. You just got to watch that bow in the line. And it can be really effective. See, I'm just popping it and it's sinking. Popping it and it's sinking. And this is good. Sometimes you can throw it out and just start jigging it immediately. This works really good in reservoirs. If you're in a kayak or something and you could just drift and just throw this thing out there and jig it and drift, you can catch a lot of trout, especially in the wintertime when those big ones are up by the surface. I think I'm going to conclude my jig fishing tutorial because they're not really hitting it. I threw it down there. Sometimes jigs just aren't what they want.